Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome.
Hello, ciao Simona.
Good morning. Good to see you. Hello.
Ciao Stefania.
So we are still waiting a few more people.
Ciao Silvia.
Everyone will be able to join. I know that the time just switched in Europe, so we are hoping everyone will manage to find the right time to connect. But I think we can start slowly, and everyone who joins later, they can take part. Thank you so much for joining us again for the Meet the Tea Farmer event. As you know, this is our series of events where we introduce tea farmers from different regions, and we get to taste their teas along the way as well. So today we have a special guest joining us from Shizuoka, from Kawane Honcho, Yuko Tsuchiya-san. So we would like her to do a short introduction, and then we will also hear from you where you are joining from and how you found this event. そしたらゆかさん自己紹介お願いします。
はい。Hello everyone. I'm Yuko Tsuchiya of Tsuchiya Noen. I'm glad to see you all. Let's enjoy together today. 土屋優子です。後ろに見えているこの風景が土屋農園のお茶畑の景色です。今日は3月の29日で、今年は少しお茶摘みのシーズンが早くやってきそうな予感で、この写真は、去年の、4月の20日ぐらいの写真なんですけれども、もうすぐこういう景色になってきます。少しね、新芽が出ている畑がここに映ってますけれども、はい。
Hi. Hello everyone. This is Yuko Tsuchiya joining us from Shizuoka, from Kawane Honcho. And you can see the beautiful scenery behind. So this is from their farm, but right now it's still the end of March. So the tea is not ready yet. But this is how it looked last year, last April. So very soon the tea will start to grow and the harvesting season will come. It's a very, very beautiful place.
土屋農園は静岡県の中でも、日本のお茶生産をしている場所の中でも標高が600メートル高い600メートルという山の上にあるとてもね珍しい場所になります。だいたい日本の中でもお茶畑っていうのは標高が200メートルから300メートルぐらいが多いんですけれども、600メートルっていうともう本当に一番高いところで作られているっていうふうに思っていただいてもいいと思います。
And so their town, their location, Kawane Honcho, is inside Shizuoka, but it is a little bit unique, a little bit rare because the elevation is 600 meters above the sea level, so quite high in the mountains. As you can see in the picture, most of Japanese tea production happens around 200 meters above the sea level. So this is twice as high, and you can see it's above the clouds, like in the picture.
はい。あと、我が家では、世界農業遺産っていう認定を受けていて、静岡でもこの静岡県の中央の大井川の周辺が、その世界農業遺産の認定地域になるんですけれども、後で画像を見ていただくんですけど、畑の中に山の草を敷いて育てるという、そういう伝統農法を昔から続けてきた農家です。
And also this region is unique because it's registered as the World Agricultural Heritage Site. So later we will see in a few pictures that they're still using the traditional way of collecting mountain grasses and using mountain grasses for tea farming, covering the soil inside the tea field.
これから飲んでいただく煎茶も、その世界農業遺産、茶草場農法っていうんですけれども、その伝統農法で作った手摘みのお茶になります。お楽しみにしてください。
And today we will try a few teas, one of which is sencha, which is grown in these kind of conditions. So it's grown in the region that's registered as the World Agricultural Heritage Region. And it was cultivated in a way where those mountain grasses were used in the farm. So the word in Japanese is chagusaba. It's the style of farming using the mountain grasses.
はい。
はい。ありがとうございます。そしたらみんなの自己紹介も聞いてみましょうか。So we would also like to hear from you. Maybe you already know each other quite well. I see a lot of repeater faces on this event, but I think it would be nice for Yuko-san to get to know you as well. So if you could say a few words from where you're joining and why you're interested in this event, that would be great. And I will invite those who have your cameras on. If you'd like to participate, please turn the camera on. Otherwise, you can also participate through chat messages. We will try to follow that as well. All right, so how about David? Would you like to join us and have an introduction of yourself? And if you can speak Japanese, you can go directly. If it's difficult, I'll help with the translation.
頑張ります。Maybe first English. If you don't know me, my name is David. I live for the moment in Japan, and I am teaching English. I just like tea a whole bunch, so I'm excited to. This is not my first Meet the Tea Maker, but I'm always excited. Now I'm going to try with my weak Japanese. はじめまして、テッテロデイビドです。鳥取県住んでいます。米子市。お茶大好き。今、高校の英語の先生です。飲むのは楽しみです。
はい。
ありがとうございます。
Amazing. Thank you, David. Okay, so how about Sylvia? Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Silvia Miglietta from Italy. I'm a tea sommelier of UK Tea Academy. And today there is also my tea educator, Stefania Gilardi. I'm a Global Japanese Tea Association pioneer and member, and I'm very proud of being part of this wonderful Japanese association. And I'm a tea lover, and I'm very keen on Japanese teas.
Thank you, Sylvia. はい、シルビアさんです。イタリアから参加してます。お茶のソメリエ、いろんな学校で、お茶のことを学んでて、UKT アカデミー、あと、この、お茶会でも、シルビアの先生参加していて、後で、自己紹介すると思います。で、うちの協会で、国際日本茶協会、すごく早い段階で入ってくれてて、もうすごくアクティブな方ですね。いろんなイベント参加してくれたりします。Thank you, Sylvia. And let's ask your teacher, your sensei. So, Stefania, would you like to also introduce yourself?
Good morning and good evening to everybody. I'm Stefania. I come from Italy. and I'm a tea sommelier educator, certified by UK Tea Academy. I have a tea academy in Italy to teach courses on tea. And also I have a tea room, a city close to Milan. So I'm also a pioneer partner for Global Japanese Tea Association. I'm proud of this, to be part of this association. I love Japanese tea, and I hope to spread and to know this tea and to teach this tea to people. I appreciate this tea. Thanks. Thanks, Silvia.
Thank you, Stefania. ステファニアさんです。イタリアに住んでいます。お茶のソメリエとお茶の先生で、そのいろんなお茶についてイタリアで教えたりしてて、あとティールームもやってます。ミラノの近くで。で、うちのメンバーも、もう何年前でもなってくれてて、すごく日本茶好きなので、こういうイベントもよく参加しています。Hi, thank you, Stefania. And how about Ineke? Would you like to join us as well?
Hello, my name is Ineke. I'm from Belgium. This is the first time I attend Meet the Tea Farmer. I was in Japan last year and I really love Japanese tea. And this year I attended a tea and yoga workshop, and there somebody told me about this association. And I'm really grateful and curious to attend these workshops and things. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. イネケさんです。ベルギーから参加しています。去年も日本来てくれてて、で、その後でベルギーでヨガとお茶のワークショップ参加してた時で、このうちの教会とこういうイベントについて聞いてて、で、参加してみよう考えたから、今回初めて参加しています。はい。Thank you so much. And I think we still have a few more people. Let's see who else is here. Martina, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Simona. Good morning, good afternoon. I am Martina from the Netherlands. Thank you for inviting me again and setting up this meeting with the tea farmers. I have been involved in tea for my whole life, just because I like to drink it, as well as Japanese tea, but especially through the marathon that was organized by the Global Japanese Tea Association, I got infected with the Japanese tea virus. So as much as I can, I'm joining these sessions and also the member sessions with the association to keep up on Japanese tea and enjoy this wonderful beverage together.
Thank you, Martina. はい、マルティナさんです。オランダから参加しています。もうすごく長いスパンでお茶好きで、もっと興味になったきっかけは2年前でこっちでオンラインイベント、日本茶マラソンっていうちょっとオンラインイベントしてた時で参加してくれてて、でそこからもうすごく日本茶に興味になりました。で、こういうイベントも他のお茶のイベントもよく参加してくれる方ですね。Thank you, Martina. And I think we have a few more people. How about Marie? Would you like to say a few words? Yes, but sorry, I think it's on mute. Yes.
Hello, konnichiwa. My name is Mylène, Marie Mylène. I am also a tea farmer, but in France. And it's just the beginning of my plantation, but I'm very interesting because my plantation is also 600 meters above the sea. So I was very interesting to meet today a tea farmer in Japan.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. マリンさんはフランスから参加しています。実はフランスでお茶育てます。茶畑やってて、で、600メートルぐらいの高さあります。 ですから、今日すごく土屋さんの話聞きたかったですね。どういう感じでお茶育つとか、そういうこと。はい。Thank you, Marie. And Elena, would you like to join us?
Hi everyone. So my name is Elena. I live in Belgium. I'm also a member of a proud and happy member of Tea Association. Also start from tea marathon and still together and enjoy a lot. We organize tea yoga workshops and Indike. Hi. So look, we brought a little bit people here. Yeah, we try to with our workshops. We try to help people discover Japanese tea, discover how it's great and interesting taste and philosophy behind the tea. So have a nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you so much, Elena. Good to see you again. はい、エラナさんで、ベルギーから参加しています。さっき言ってた、お茶とヨガの、イベントのオーガナイザーです。こういう、ヨガとお茶のリトリートみたいなことをやったりしてて。で、日本茶に、すごく興味になったきっかけは、日本茶マラソン2年前の話ですね。それからもういろんなこと、そういうイベントもオーガナイズしてたり、うちのもいろんなところ参加してくれたりしてます。Thank you very much. And I think that was probably everyone who had their cameras on. If someone else would like to join the conversation, please feel free anytime. I think we only saw that Michaela is not able to join with a voice because of the office, but we see Michaela, so thank you for joining. And from here on, I think we can go into the exciting part, which is to learn about the teas and to try to taste them as well together with Yuko-san. Yuko-san、これからお茶の紹介と入れ方の説明もできればお願いします。すいません、ミュートです。ミュートになってます。
はい。皆さんのところに、お茶が2種類届いていると思います。煎茶が、これですね、光小町、ローマ字で光小町って書いてあるのが煎茶です。で、もう一つが、ほうじ茶です。で、最初に、入れるお茶は煎茶です。この光小町は、品種は奥光という品種です。で、奥光という品種を手摘みをして、商品にして、土屋農園のオリジナルの商品名にしてあるのが、この光小町というオリジナルの名前です。これを今から入れます。
So right now for this event, you should have received 2 teas, one of which is a sencha and the other one is hojicha. So we are going to start from sencha, and the product name of this tea is also written on the package. It's called Hikari Komochi, and it is made using Okuhikari cultivar. So today we can try it, and the special thing about it is that this is a hand-picked tea, so quite different from most other teas in Japan.
はい。土屋農園のある静岡の、山奥は、春の訪れが遅いんですね。で、お茶は、やぶきたを中心に日本茶は、早くできる品種と遅くできる品種で、基準がやぶきたという品種に決まっているんです。で、この奥光は、やぶきたよりも、1週間ほど遅く取れる品種になります。土屋農園は、山の上で、冬が長くて、春が寒いので、早生品種、早い品種のものを植えても、うまく育たないんですね。で、育っても、やぶきたと摘み取りの時期が一緒になってしまうので、土屋農園では、早生品種は植えていません。やぶきたでスタートして、送っての、晩生品種をいくつか栽培しています。
So a little bit more about the cultivar. So maybe you know in Japan the most popular and the most common cultivar is Yabukita, and that is a kind of standard. But aside from Yabukita, there are a few other cultivars, some of which are early shooting and some are a little bit later shooting. But where Yuka-san is, where their farm, Tsuchiya is, it's high in the mountains. And in their case, the winters last a little bit longer. The spring is not as warm as maybe in other places. So growing the early cultivars doesn't really make sense because they actually shoot around the same time as Yabukita and they don't get any cushion, any time cushion from growing them. So what they do is that they mainly grow Yabukita, the standard one, and they also have a few late shooting cultivars, one of which is the Okuhikari, the one we will be tasting right now.
はい。では、入れていきたいと思います。この奥光、去年の5月の、15日に摘み取ったものなんです。で、旨味があって、渋みもあるんですけれども、非常に旨味を持っています。でも、奥光の特徴として、渋みが出やすいお茶ですので、せっかくの旨味を味わっていただくように、1煎目はお湯の温度を冷まして入れます。旨味というのは、お湯の温度が高くても低くても水でも出ます。渋みの成分というのは、お湯の温度が高いと出やすくて、低いと出にくいという性質があるので、お湯の温度を冷まして渋みを抑えて、旨味を引き出して入れるのが、日本茶の、上級の煎茶の入れ方の基本になります。
So this tea was harvested last year on the 15th of May. And the feature of this cultivar is that it has umami, that kind of sweetness, but it also can easily release a little bit of astringency. So what Yuko-san is recommending is to start by brewing the tea with a little bit cooler water. You probably will know by now that the umami taste will come out in any conditions. At high temperature, at lower temperature, we will have quite a lot of umami. But by adjusting the temperature, we can regulate the amount of the astringency. So having cooler water, we will have less astringency, and having hotter water, we will have more. For this time, we would like to cool down the water and brew the tea with kind of warm water.
はい。その温度なんですけど、今日は、50度で入れていきます。玉露を皆さん入れたことはありますかね。玉露を入れるようなつもりで入れてもらうと旨味が出ます。では入れていきます。
Today we will be using the water temperature of about 50 degrees Celsius. And if you have brewed gyokura before, that will be quite similar to it. So now Yuko-san is showing us how to brew the tea.
はい。お茶の葉を、スプーンで取って入れるんですが、お茶の葉見てもらいたいんですけど、すごくね、松葉のように、細く、長くよれています。これが、日本茶の、上級のお茶の証です。最近の日本茶は、葉っぱが細かいお茶が多いんですけれども、これが本来の伝統的な、煎茶の形になります。1人分3グラム急須の中に入れます。ティースプーンに1杯がだいたい3グラムになります。
So as we are preparing to brew the tea, also have a look at the tea leaves. You probably will notice how thin and long they are, just like the pine needles. And this kind of tea is more classical, more traditional kind of Japanese tea. And today we are making the tea for ourselves. So we are using about 3 grams of tea. And Yuko-san is suggesting that just using a teaspoon, 1 teaspoon will measure about 3 grams. So that is how much we need to prepare it.
はい。今日は1人分を入れるので、この、 小さい急須を使って入れますけど、なかなかこの小さい急須ってね、外国の方は持ってない方多いと思います。で、この急須はだいたい3人分ぐらい入れられる急須なんですけど、この急須で1人分を入れても問題ないです。でも、少ないお湯の量を使いますので、お湯を入れすぎると薄い味になってしまいますので、もし小さい急須がない方は、こういう同じ湯飲みに直接お茶の葉を入れて、飲む方法もあります。
So today, Yuka-san is using this kind of small kyusu that's just perfect for 1 cup for making tea for 1 person. But next to it, you can see a little bit larger kyusu, which can brew about 3 cups. It is fine to use that kind of kyusu as well, but we should be a bit careful about the water amount. So not to pour too much water because the tea might become too light. So in case you don't have a small kyusu, we can actually prepare tea just using the cup itself. So make the tea inside the cup.
最初に、お湯をこの湯飲み茶碗に入れた理由は、1人分のお湯の量が確実に入れられるというか、計量というね、お湯の量を測る意味でもこの湯飲み茶碗にお湯を入れました。で、ポットのお湯熱いですので、一度この湯飲みに入れることで、お湯の温度がだいたい10度ぐらい冷めます。で、まだ熱いですので、まだ50度にはなってませんので、さらに湯冷ましといって別の器に移して冷まします。これでだいたい50度ぐらいに冷めるのを待って、急須に入れていきます。だいたいもうちょっとかな。はい。
Right. So you probably saw at the beginning that Yuka-san was pouring the water from the kettle into the teacup, and that is good for 2 reasons. So it of course helps to cool down the water, but this way we can also measure to know that we will only have 1 cup, what we need. However, pouring it in the cup, the temperature drops just about 10 degrees, so that is not enough for today's preparation. We want the water to be just a little bit cooler. We want it around 50 degrees Celsius. So Yuka-san poured it into the yuzamashi water cooler to cool the water temperature a little more.
はい、じゃあだいたい、温度計は使ってないですけど、だいたい50度ぐらいに冷めましたので、
So Yuka-san is not using the thermometer to check, but just by touch, she can feel what the temperature is. And right now it's already good, 50 degrees Celsius. So we start to brew the tea. あと、その抽出時間のことについても。
はい。蓋をして、だいたい2分待ちます。時々ね、蓋を取って、お茶の葉の開き具合を見ながら2分を、約2分待つんですけれども、日本、ね、鳥取にいらっしゃる方は、日本の水で入れてると思うんですけど、日本のお水って、軟水で、柔らかいんですね。軟水の水で入れるとお茶の葉は早く開きます。で、外国のお水っていうのは、日本のお水に比べると硬くて、硬水って言われてるんですけど、お茶の葉が開くのに時間がかかるので、日本の水で入れる場合は1分30秒ぐらいを目安に入れますが、外国の、硬水で入れる場合は、2分から、もしかするとお湯の温度が冷めてると2分30秒ぐらい待った方が味が出るかと思います。ですので今日は私エビアンを使ってるんですけど、皆さんと一緒に入れようと思って日本の水ではなくエビアンを使って入れてるんですが、なので2分で入れていきたいと思います。
So about the brewing time, this time Yuka-san is suggesting us to wait about 2 minutes. And actually it depends a little bit on what kind of water you have in your place. So here in Japan, we have very soft water. And for those of you who are joining from Japan, we can brew it a little bit shorter, about 1 minute 30 seconds. But for those who are joining abroad and maybe the water is a little bit harder over there, then brewing it longer will make the tea stronger, will make it taste better. this time Yuko-san is actually using not the Japanese water, but the bottled Evian water that's a little bit harder to kind of feel what it might be in conditions similar to yours overseas.
はい。じゃあ2分経ちましたので、入れていきます。
After 2 minutes, we can pour it out.
色が薄いのにびっくりする方がいるかもしれませんけど、色が薄いからといって、急須をゆすったりしないでくださいね。
So maybe some of you will be a little bit surprised that the color is quite light and pale, but don't worry about it. You don't have to shake the kyusu too much. We will taste and I think you will realize what is in the cup.
はい。じゃあ、どうぞ皆さん召し上がってください。
Okay, let's give it a try. And please show us how you made it, what you drink it from. Okay, kanpai.
うん。
ごめん、遅いです。
そうですか？
大丈夫。
お湯の温度が50度よりももしかするとちょっと冷めてたかもしれないんですけど、私の場合、渋みが穏やかで、まろやかな旨みが、出て美味しく入れられましたけど、皆さんどうでしょうか
？So, yeah, today maybe the temperature was even a little bit cooler than 50 degrees, Yuka-san is saying. So, yeah, maybe the taste is a little bit lighter, but it's still very, very powerful and delicious. And the question is to you, what do you think about it after you taste it? What did you think of this tea? Anyone?
It's delicious.
Yeah, it's very good.
大丈夫です。
Yeah.
すごく美味しい。
美味しい。旨味はどうでしょう。皆さん、馴染みがあまり、お茶の旨味って、紅茶などではこういう味わいって、ないと思うんですけども、大丈夫ですか？おいしく。
So in terms of black tea, maybe we cannot find such taste like this with quite a bit of umami. So what do you think? Do you like it? How does it taste for you?
I think it's both light and umami.
Light?
Yeah. But maybe I think maybe my water also was Nihon no mizu. I only 1分3秒ぐらい。
ちょっと濃かったですか？日本のお水でやってます？日本のお水？じゃあ2分置くとちょっと濃い味に渋くて濃い味になってるんじゃないかと思うんですけど、大丈夫ですか？
今回1分ちょっと待ってたので、濃くなくて、旨味感じてます。
よかったです。
Thank you, David. And I think actually earlier before starting the event, Yuka-san told me that she was curious on how you make tea. Do you have kyusu at home? Would you like to show it to us? What kind of teapot or what kind of cups you use for making tea? 皆さんどんな感じお茶入れてるか今ちょっと聞いてて、で、その急須というのみあれば見せてください言いました。こんな感じ
です。
おー、すごい。急須もありますね。グラスポット。おー、平べたい急須も。絞り出しもありますね。
絞りもある。すごいすごい。すごい。ちゃんと、なんか、紅茶を入れるティーポットとか、を使われてるのかなって思ったんですけど、本当に日本の茶器を使って入れてるんですね。びっくりです。はい。
So Yuka-san is very surprised. She thought maybe you will be using some teapot for black tea or something like that. But a lot of you have Japanese teaware, even like some rare examples like the flat kyusu or the shibori dashi. So she is very surprised to see.
はい。旨味って マグカップでたくさんの量をごくごく飲むような味ではないんですよね。小さい湯飲み茶碗とかで、味わって、飲む、たくさん飲めない、味わいだと思うので、大きいカップだとちょっと飲みにくいと思うんですけど、渋み、1戦目で旨味が、なくなりますので、2戦目とか3戦目は比較的、お湯をちょっとたくさん使って、マグカップで熱いお湯を、熱いお茶を飲むっていうのも、いい飲み方じゃないかなとは思うんですけど、どうでしょうか。マグカップとかで飲まれると、本当にこの旨味はちょっとたくさん飲めないと思いますけど。
So Japanese teas, especially essential like this, are known for umami, that savory sweetness. And Yuko-san is saying that in Japan, typically the cups are quite small because it's hard to have a lot of umami at once. Like if we prepare it in a mug cup, it might be a little bit hard to drink. So the first brew is typically prepared in this kind of smaller teaware, smaller teapot and smaller cup. And then later brews, second and third and so on, after we extract a lot of umami out, then different kinds of notes start to come forward. And in that case, having it in a mug cup maybe becomes a bit easier.
はい。1戦目でね、1戦目をお湯の温度を下げて、旨味を引き出す入れ方をしましたので、2戦目は少し1戦目よりも温度を高くして、やや渋みの効いた味わいで2戦目を飲んでいただけるといいと思います。渋みが出てくるので、お菓子とか、他のね、食べ物と合わせて、たくさん飲める味に2戦目、3戦目はなってくると思います。
So the first time we lowered the temperature and had the warm brew, but for the later brews, Yuko-san is suggesting to raise the temperature higher. And in that case, you can have the next few brews after that. And also it goes quite well with some sweets or some snacks in that case as well. すごいチャットでもいろいろコメント来てますね。すごくスムーズなうまみの味、ミカエラから言ってくれてまして、少し玉露似てる感じにもする、マティネも言ってくれてまして、シルビアもすごく美味しい、すごくうまみの味。イネケさんは、ちょっとなんていう、草ではないんですけど、緑濃い味ですね、スムーズな。でシルビアからまたちょっと花ような感じにもします。これですね。
今、玉露のような味わいっていう、意見があったんですけど、実はこの、奥光、手摘みをする、前、1週間ぐらい、玉露のようにお日様を遮る応用をしてるんですね。はい。そうすることで、渋みを抑えて旨みを蓄えさせることができるのと、急須の中のお茶の葉を見てもらいたいんですけど、すごく青みの濃い、緑の濃い色になってますけど、これ奥光そのものが色ってこういう緑濃いんですけど、応用することでさらに艶のある深い緑になるんですね。それで玉露のような味わいに感じたのかもしれないです。
So we saw a comment in the chat, one of you mentioning that, oh, it maybe feels a little bit like gyokura. And Yuko-san is saying that, that comment was spot on because actually they shade this tea for a little bit before harvesting, just about a week, but that helps to make it a bit more umami. And also if you look inside the teapot, please check the color. It looks quite strong green. So the tea leaves themselves, the cultivar itself would be green already, but shading it makes it even more intense, makes it a little bit deeper.
はい、じゃあ2戦目を入れていきたいと思います。2戦目は1戦目よりも熱めのお湯、1戦目は50度でしたので、 2戦目は70度ぐらいで入れるといいと思います。
So let's make a second brew, and Yuka-san is showing us how to do it. She's recommending for the second brew to get the water to about 70 degrees Celsius, so a bit higher than before.
ポットのお湯が熱いので、湯冷ましでワンクッション冷まします。これでだいたい70度ぐらいになっていると思いますので、入れていき
So
ます。
the water in the pot in the kettle was quite high, the temperature. So Yuka-san used Yuzamashi, this kind of water cooler, but you can use also a cup as well, something like that, to just transfer the water once, and then it will cool down for a little bit.
で、20秒ぐらいで継ぎます。日本の水だったらだいたい10秒ぐらいで大丈夫です。
And this time the brew is much faster. So if you have soft water like in Japan, you don't have to wait very long, just about 10 seconds. If the water is a little bit harder where you are, then about 20 seconds will be good.
1戦目の、味わいとは変わっていると思いますので、どうぞ飲んでみてください。
So the taste probably will be a little bit different from the first cup. So please give it a try and let us know what you think.
1戦目にね、湯冷ましをして旨味を引き出すと、その後2戦目、3戦目、何戦も飲めるんですね。で、2戦目よりも3戦目の方が厚めのお湯にして、3戦目よりも4戦目の方が厚めにしてっていう風にして入れていきますが、3戦目、4戦目になるともうほとんど旨味はもう出ないと思います。渋みだけになると思いますけども、それでもね、色も出ますし、味わいも出ますし、1戦目の旨味の余韻がずっと口の中にあるので、ずっと美味しく飲めると思います。
Okay. So Yuka-san is saying that a lot of umami comes into the first cup, and in the second cup we start to have a little bit more of astringency, but every other time she recommends to raise the temperature more, and in later cups we will have less umami remaining and a bit more astringency will come out, but because we still have that sensation in our mouth from before, we can still feel it to be very delicious. ゆかさん、チャットで質問が来まして、
はい。
David, I see you have a question about the tea. Would you like to join live? Otherwise, of course, I can say it and translate.
Yeah, it was about the difference between shaded sencha and kabu sencha. So, このsencha とkabu sencha は違うですか？
煎茶とかぶせ茶の違いですか？
そうです。今回はちょっとかぶせてたんですけど、かぶせ茶とは言わなくて、それは何か違いありますか？
はい。煎茶は基本的にはお湯はしないです。かぶせはしてないのが煎茶なんですけど、上質の旨味を出すために少しだけ応用することで、煎茶として、作っている。かぶせだと、やっぱり2週間ぐらいかけるんですね。応用するんですね。10日から 2週間ぐらいとかけないとかぶせ茶にはならないんですけれども、5日から1週間以内だったら煎茶として十分通用するということで、逆に上質の煎茶を作る品評会に出品するお茶は、摘み取りの前だいたい5日から1週間応用しています。
そうなんですね。So, David asked a question, what's the difference between this tea and kabusecha? We said this tea was shaded for a few days. And Yuka-san explained that for kabusecha, the shading is longer. So about 2 weeks, at least 10 days or about 2 weeks. However, most sencha is grown open in the sun, but this time they shaded a little bit. So not to the level of kabusecha, a little bit less. And actually, in Japan, when the teas are submitted for competition, it is quite common to shade it a little bit. So maybe 5 days to 7 days to just bring out a little bit of that umami. But it's not to the level of kabusecha. It's much less. Thank you, David. And if anyone else has any questions, feel free to join the conversation and ask directly or through the chat. Either way is okay.
Yeah, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's the tea is very good. I don't know the word in English. It's very feminine. Feminine? You say in English? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
It's a woman who does the tea. I think it's very finest.
Fine.
The
Okay.
taste. And my question is, the leaves are also beautiful, and I wanted to know how she processed to make the tea after the harvest.
Okay, good question. ゆかさん、マリさんの質問は、もう、このお茶すごく美味しくて、で、葉っぱ見たら、葉っぱもすごく綺麗な状態で、で、摘んだ後にどういう工程で、どういう製造で、作ってたりしますか？
特別に、煎茶の工程で、スタンダードな工程で、特に、こう作るための製造で特殊なことっていうのはしていなくて、日本の緑茶は、蒸気で蒸してから、機械で、揉みながらっていうかね、風と、ローリングっていうか、揉むっていうかね、風と熱とを加えながら乾燥させていくっていう工程を、4つの工程が、蒸す工程入れると5つの工程があるんですけども、その工程を、経て、乾燥させて作ってます。特別変わったことってしてないんですけど、やっぱり品質の高いものを作るのには時間がかかります。はい。出来上がるまでに、機械だと、5時間から6時間、
そうなんです、
かかります。品質の悪い、硬いお茶は3時間ぐらいでできちゃうこともあるんですけども、5月に摘み取る新芽の柔らかい、重たい葉っぱっていうんですけどね、栄養分がたっぷりある、品質の高いお茶というのは、製造工程に時間がかかります。
あと、それ影響あるか、また聞きたいんですけど、その工場の機械、すごく、小さめの感じですね。それで、影響あったりしますか？
あります。そうですね。通常日本茶は、大型の工場が今もう主流になっていて、生の葉っぱを、120キロとか100キロぐらい、いっぺんに製造するんですけど、我が家は30キロぐらいの、一番小さい小型の機械を使っているので、さっき見ていただいたような、こういう、細くよれた、お茶ができるんです。手もみに、より近い、製造になります。小さい機械を使うと。
はい。
はい。
So, so the question about processing this tea and whether Yuko-san is doing anything special about it. So Yuko-san is saying that not really, that they are using the same method that is used for most Japanese teas, which includes the steaming and then a few steps of rolling and then drying. But maybe some differences are that when they are processing very young spring tea that is very soft and delicate, they are spending a bit more time. So usually for a large quantity of tea of medium or lower grade, it would be processed faster and maybe 3-4 hours, but they spend a little bit longer, about 5-6 hours to process it. So that might be one difference. And the other thing is that nowadays Japanese tea is processed in quite large machines that can handle large quantity of tea leaves. So 100 kilogram of fresh leaves or 120 kilogram is quite a regular size of machines around Japan. but they're using the old style, really small machines, so just about 30 kilogram in size. And that way, the processing actually mimics a little bit more of the hand drawing. So they are able to get these very, very thin and long needles like we could see in the tea. Thank you so much. Okay. So everyone else, okay, about any other questions or any comments regarding this tea or the tea farm?
Just a fantastic tea. Thanks.
Okay, Sylvia, thank you. すごくいいお茶ですね。Sylvia 言ってくれてます。
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sylvia. Okay, so so in that case, we can have a short overview of the farm and the area, and after that we will be able to taste another tea. We have 2 teas today. So let me first of all share my screen, and we can talk a little bit more about this. Okay, so just to know a bit more about this area, so we are finding ourselves in Shizuoka, and Shizuoka is known as the capital of Japanese tea. It's right in the middle, and it produces a lot of tea of various kinds. And the unique feature of Shizuoka is that it also has this beautiful scenery of the Mount Fuji. So if you visited Japan or passed by, I'm sure you have seen it before. But uniquely the unique thing is also that the tea farms are quite close to it, and you can see such beautiful scenery as this, the Mount Fuji rising above the tea farms. This is also the area where Yabukita, the most common tea cultivar in Japan, began and originated from, and from here it spread across the whole country and became the most popular one. It being the capital and being the center of Japanese tea, there are also a lot of organizations working around tea. So one of them is the National Tea Research Center that does a lot of research on different aspects involving cultivars as well. So researching different cultivars and other aspects of Japanese tea. And here is also a really large tea market that handles the tea not only from Shizuoka, but from other areas of Japan as well. So it's one of the major places where a lot of buyers come to get the tea. When we look inside Shizuoka, I think you will know that there are many different tea regions. We have already explored some of them through various other programs, also including on this event, Meet the Tea Farmer. And today we are over here in this region of Kawane and in the town of Kawane Honcho. It's the more mountainous area of Shizuoka. So our guest, Yuko Tsuchiya, talking about the tea farm. So the farm has continued for a few generations. So Tsuchiya-san is already the 3rd generation of looking after the farm. She mentioned already that the farm is very high up, 600 meters above the sea level. So really beautiful scenery. And of course, it's not a large farm, not a large land, because it's quite hard to farm on the mountains, on the mountain slopes. So the area is quite small. And we also heard that they're using small machines for processing the tea. So everything is smaller scale, but very involved. So the beautiful scenery that maybe you can see if you come to visit. And this being in the mountains, of course, they get snow as well. So the tea farm with the snow looks very beautiful. Maybe it does not happen every year, but sometimes it can look like this. これすごいですね。この雪だるま、お茶もお茶の葉っぱも挟んで。これ、土屋さんミュート。はい。
静岡は日本の中でも比較的あったかい場所なんですね。で、雪が降るっていう静岡でもあんまり雪は降らないんですけど、土屋農園は標高が山の上で高いので、 雪が降る場所なんです。ただ、今年は雪が降らなかったです。とてもね、暖かい、冬だったんですけど、でも、お茶の木にとっては寒さってごちそうなんですね。この雪は、冬の間、じっくりと、茶の木が休むのには、とても、大切なことなので、雪が降るっていうのは、茶の木にとってはいいことなんです。水分もね、ありますし。でも今年はちょっとね、暖かい冬で雪は積もってないです。
So typically Shizuoka is quite a warm area in the whole of Japan. However, their tea farm is high in the mountains, 600 meters above the sea level. So they do get snow and it can get to look like this. However, this year it was a strange year. It didn't snow almost at all. There were just a few days. But in general, snow is not so bad for tea. Actually, it's quite beneficial to have a little bit colder winter, and then there's also a lot of moisture when the snow melts as well. And I think we mentioned earlier a little bit in the introduction that they still have this very traditional farming style of using the mountain grasses. So here we can see them dry in between the tea field, in between the rows of the tea field. これもすごいですね。すごくテーマとかいろいろあるんですけど、今でも続けたりしますですね。
はい、これが先ほど言った農業遺産、世界農業遺産、静岡の茶草場農法っていうね、伝統農法です。山の、草を刈り取って干した草を茶の木の間に敷く農法なんですけど、冬が寒いので、保温や保湿、それから草がね、雑草が生えてこないです。こういうことをすると。で、やがては有機質の土になって、ふかふかの土壌を作って、肥料のようなね、形として、美味しいお茶を作るのにはとても重要なことになるんですけれども、最近は肥料を入れればね、お茶はできますので、こういう手間のかかる作業をする農家は少なくなりました。ほとんどいないです。
So this is what Yuko-san was mentioning before, that the area that's registered as the World Agricultural Heritage Site for continuing the traditional farming styles. So this is what they are actually doing. They are collecting those mountain grasses, drying them up, and then bringing it to the farm. And as we know, this farm is high in the mountains and it gets very cold. So covering the soil like this works also like a blanket. It keeps the warmth of the soil, of the roots. Also it helps to protect from unwanted weeds. So once you cover the soil, the new weeds, they don't come out so much. And later on, when this material decays, it becomes also a good fertilizer. It makes a very fluffy, airy soil, so very nice soil for the tea plants. Of course, nowadays there are all kinds of other fertilizers that are much easier to get and does not require so much effort, but they still continue this way. There are very, very few farmers that still do it nowadays, but over there at Tsuchiya, they continue that traditional way. Okay. We can see that it is grown on the slopes, and of course a lot of it is harvested by machines. So here we can see also Yuko-san and her husband harvesting tea together. But today we tried the specialty that's produced a bit different way by hand. And this is also inside their factory. So we mentioned that machines are generally small and they do a small batch production. The steamer in the front, and we can see the rolling machine on the side as well. And what we see in the center is Yuko-san's father. So he's still producing tea even nowadays. すごいですね。もうゆかさんのお父さんも何十年もお茶のこと続いてますね。
はい。 最新鋭のコンピューターの機械ではなくて、機械を使っても、手の加減で、お茶の出来具合を見ていくという、ことで、やっぱり、熟練のね、経験がないと、できないと、父は言ってます。
So he has been processing tea for many years and even many decades before we had all the smart technology, all the computers that we can preset the settings. So he's very skilled at judging the leaf by the touch. So touching and understanding what is the condition and what to do next. So that is quite fascinating, so much experience. And the other thing that they are also continuing is the hand picking. So here we can see the ladies, the veteran ladies who come to pick the tea every year in spring. これもすごいですね。もうすごくゆかさんのところで、いろんな伝統的なものを続けてくれたりしますですね。
そうですね。さっきの、チャングサバ農法っていうね、農法もそうなんですけど、手摘みもやっぱり伝統的な農法だと思います。我が家も、ほとんどが、機械で摘み取るんですけれども、新茶のシーズンが始まって、1週間ぐらいは、こうした手摘みを今でもやってます。
So this is another area where they are preserving the traditions, and of course most farms are nowadays harvesting by machine and of course processing by machine. But over here at Tsuchiya Noyan, every spring for the first week when the harvesting starts, they have these traditional pickers, these ladies who have also a lot of experience to come and pick tea by hand for about 1 week before they do the machine harvesting in other places. Yeah, and we already tasted this tea, so the very beautiful, delicious hand-picked sencha. But this is not the only one that tea that they have. So today we can try a second one. そしたらゆかさん2番目のお茶の説明も入れ方もお願いします。
最初に飲んでいただいた煎茶も、今、下野さんから紹介してもらった土屋農園の農法も、土屋農園のこだわりなんですけれども、これから飲んでいただくお茶というのは、そのこだわりのお茶とはまたちょっと違って、もっとカジュアルに、簡単に飲んでもらえるために作ったものです。ほうじ茶なんですけれども、日本のほうじ茶の一般的なものは、原料が番茶が多いんですね。番茶っていうのは、品質的には、少し下級のものになります。で、我が家は、お茶摘みのシーズン5月のお茶しか、取らないんですね。なので、ほうじ茶を作ってるこの元の原料も一番茶の煎茶を使ってます。ですので、ほうじ茶の中でも煎茶の、感じをがすごくするほうじ茶じゃないかと思います。
So the first tea we tried was a very special sencha, hand-picked and traditionally produced. The second tea we will try will be a little bit more casual. This is hojicha, the roasted Japanese tea. But maybe the difference from usual hojichas is the material they use for roasting. So typically hojicha in Japan is made by roasting bancha, this lower grade, a bit more maturely. What we will be tasting today is actually the sencha leaf from spring harvest, because at Tsuchiya Noyan they only harvest tea in spring, and this tea, this roasted tea hojicha is made with the spring sencha leaves.
はい。では、ほうじ茶入れていきたいと思います。先ほどと同じように、1人分を今日は入れます。1人分のお茶の葉の目安の量は、さっきの煎茶と同じ3グラムを使うんですけれども、煎茶の3グラムは、はい、このスプーン、はい、このティースプーン1杯がだいたい煎茶の3グラムなんですが、ほうじ茶は焙煎することで葉が大きく膨らんでますので、このスプーン1杯がだいたい3グラムになりますので、 この一杯を入れていきます。
So now about brewing this tea, we are also making the tea for one person, 1 cup. So we still need 3 grams of leaves. However, when you open the bag, you will probably see that the leaves are a little bit lighter and a bit airy. So when we were measuring sencha, Yuko-san suggested to use a teaspoon. 1 teaspoon was about 3 grams. But because hojicha is a little bit more airy, after roasting, we are using a tablespoon. So 1 tablespoon will give us about 3 grams, about 1 portion that we need for now.
はい。煎茶は、湯冷ましをすることで、お湯を冷ますことで、旨味を引き出す入れ方をしたんですが、ほうじ茶そのものの原料になっている煎茶には旨味がほとんどないので、お湯の温度を冷ましても旨味は出てきません。なので、熱いお湯を使って香りを楽しむということになります。で、今日はポットのお湯を直接、ポットに、急須に入れていきます。
So for sencha, we were cooling down the water temperature to have more umami, that sweetness. But when we roast hojicha, it doesn't really have as much umami at all. So the recommendation is to use hot water. And with hot water, we will be able to enjoy more of the aroma of hojicha. So hot water directly into the teapot.
進出待つ時間は、日本の軟水だったら30秒から40秒ぐらいでいいと思いますけれども、外国の硬水だったら、1分ぐらいかなと思います。
And the brewing time, it depends on the water that you have. So if you have soft water like in Japan, the brewing time will be 30 to 40 seconds. If the water is a little bit harder, you should wait about 1 minute.
では、入れていきます。
And silly question, hot water, like 90 degrees?
お湯の温度は、熱いお湯言ってますけど、だいたい何度ぐらいですか？
はい、80度から90度でいいと思います。
はい。
Okay, so what
ありがとうございます。
we say hot, but it should be about 80 to 90 degrees Celsius.
じゃあ、皆さん入れたらぜひ飲んでみてください。
If you have it ready, please give it a try.
美味しい。
もう香りすごいですね。もうこのお茶も飲む前に香り吸いたいですね。
さっきも言ったように、味わいというのは旨味があるお茶ではないので、どちらかというと、香りを楽しむお茶になりますね。
So just like Yuko-san was saying before, this tea maybe is not so known for umami, not so strong in umami, but the aroma is very beautiful. Take a moment to feel the aroma before you drink it. I think that will be a nice surprise.
今もう入れてしまったんですけど、お茶の葉を見ると、よく見ると、緑茶のね、緑が葉っぱに残ってると思います。これがね、土屋農園のほうじ茶の特徴です。煎茶らしさを残している、浅入りのほうじ茶と言っていいと思います。コーヒーと同じように、コーヒーも焙煎に深入り、浅入りっていうのがあると思いますけど、ほうじでもね、やっぱり同じように、深入りのもの、浅入りのものっていうのがあって、我が家の、ほうじ茶は浅入りです。
So you could also have a look at the dry tea leaves. When you open the bag, you will probably notice that they're not very dark brown. Maybe some have little patches of greenish. And so like for coffee where there are darker and lighter roasts, same for tea as well. So this is a lighter roast. And why they do this? Because they want to keep a little bit of those features from sencha. They don't want to roast it too strong. いいですね。
すごい香りです。
そうですね。Very good. はい。ちょっと質問聞いて た感じで、David, I see you had a question about sencha steaming earlier on. Would you like to ask directly?
頑張ります。煎茶は、福蒸しか朝蒸しですか？
はい、朝蒸しです。
はい、ありがとう。I thought. いや、すごい明るいです。
深蒸しっていうと、もっとお茶の葉が細かいんですよね。で、色が濃く出るのが深蒸しです。で、朝蒸しはお茶の葉が、細く長くよれていて、色が薄い。これがね、特徴です。
So a very interesting question was from David about the steaming of this tea, how much steaming, whether lighter or deeper steaming, and maybe you could notice from the appearance of the tea leaves. Yuko-san was telling us that this is lighter steam tea, so we can still see the full shape of the leaf, the beautiful thin and long needle. So if we steam longer, the particles will be smaller and they will not keep such a beautiful needle shape. Okay. そして、あと、煎茶の話で戻るんですけど、品種のことをもう一度、品種の名前とか、品種の特徴の話なんですね。
飲んだお茶についてっていうことですか？
煎茶について聞いてたと思いますけど、まあ、ほうじ茶についても言ったらいいかもしれないですね。
今日飲んだ煎茶の品種は奥光という品種ですね。日本のお茶の、約7割がやぶきたという品種で、やぶきたがスタンダードになってるんですけれども、そのやぶきたを基準にして、早く取れるお茶と遅く取れるお茶というのがあるんですが、土屋農園では遅く取れる品種しか作っていません。なぜかというと、冬が長くて春が遅いので、早く取れる品種を作っても、生育があまり良くなくて、やぶきたと摘み取りの時期が一緒になってしまうんですね。なので、あえて我が家では早く取れる品種は植えてなくて、やぶきたをスタートにして、やぶきた、それから奥光、それ以外には狭山香りとか、春緑、それから在来といって、100年以上経っているお茶の木もあります。はい。その中で、手摘みをしているお茶っていうのは限られていて、やぶきたの、早い時期のもの、奥光、それから春緑を手摘みをしています。
はい。So we just come back to the question about cultivars. I think we saw in the chat earlier on. So the cultivar of the sencha we drank earlier is Okuhikari, and it's a later shooting cultivar. Yuka-san reminded us that most Japanese tea is made using Yabukita cultivar, over 70%. But they have a few cultivars that are the later shooting ones. So among them, there is Sayama Kaori and Harimidori, and also a little bit of Zairai they grow as well, that natural mix of genes. And among them, the teas that the cultivars that they use for hand picking are not all of them, are just some of them. So mainly early Yabukita, and also the one we are tasting right now, Oku Hikari, is done by hand picking. そしたら、ほうじ茶の品種にも、
はい。ほうじ茶は特に品種にはこだわっていないんですが、土屋農園の、お茶はやっぱり、7割ぐらいがやぶきたなんですね。で、やぶきたのバリエーションを作るために、4月の下旬から、手摘みで始まり、5月の下旬にかけて、お茶摘みをするんですけれども、5月の下旬になると、お茶の葉が伸びて、 そうですね、旨味の少ないお茶になっていくんですね。で、そのヤブキタを使っています。ですので、特別、旨味のある、お茶ではなくて、ヤブキタの、ちょっと、そうですね、成長したものを使ってます。
So for Hojicha cultivar, they generally don't have a specific one to use for Hojicha. It can be made from many different cultivars. In this case, it is Yabukita. And usually, like we said before, at the early spring, the leaves are very soft and some of them are hand-picked, some of them are machine harvested. But those typically, the early harvests, they go into making sencha. And for Hojicha, they wait until a little bit later in the spring, almost the end of the spring harvest. So in that case, the leaves become just a little bit larger, just a bit more mature. And then they use it for making Hojicha. Right. And Marie, it seems you have a question also in the chat. Would you like to join us in the conversation?
Yeah, I wanted to know if it's cutting or tea seeds. I think Japan normally it's cutting most of the time.
Oh, for which one? You mean for
all the cultivar what she used in the tea field?
そっか。何でしたっけ。マリの質問は、そのお茶育つときで、種から植えたりするか、そのお茶の、なんていうかとして、枝から作ってたりするか、そういうことも知りたいんですね。
ですね、お茶の木を、っていうのは、通訳できるかな、自家受粉って言って、自家受粉ができないんですね。なので、違う、なんだろう、種で植えると同じ品種じゃなくなってしまうんです。なので、挿し木と言って、挿し木と言って枝を切って、で、なんていうんですかね、まあ、コピーを作っていくような感じで、枝というか苗を増やしていくのが主流なんです。種で植えてしまうと、どうしてもヤブキタの種を取ってもヤブキタにはならないっていう、そういう特徴があって、なんていうんですかね、同じ品種のものを増やすんでしたら、枝を切って挿し木という手法をしないと、なんていうんですかね、増やせないです。
でも土屋さん言ってたことは少し在来もあるんです。
在来。
それで、もう種植えたもの、もうだいぶ前ですか？
在来、この挿し木の技術っていうのは、なんていうんですかね、時代が進んで、技術の開発が進んでからのことなんですけど、はるか昔、種で植えていたっていう時代のもので、在来は種で植えて育ったものです。なので、在来のお茶畑に行くと、お茶の木が一つずつが特徴が違って、なんていうんですかね、ばらつきがあるんですね。ちょっと小さい葉っぱの木であったり、葉っぱが長細かったり、こんなに伸びてる葉っぱもあれば短い葉っぱもあるっていうような感じで、在来の畑は揃ってないんです。なので、同じ木っていうのがないっていうのが特徴になります。種で植えるとそうなっちゃうんですね。
そうですね。The question regarding whether tea is mainly cultivated or how to say propagated from cuttings or seeds. So nowadays it's mainly done from cuttings because the tea plant is not self-propagating one. You need two plants to create a seed, and in that case, every plant will be different from one another. So if you want to preserve those qualities that we have among the cultivars, the main way is to take a cutting and to copy that plant over and over again. So that's what is mostly done throughout Japan and also mostly on Tsuchiya's tea farm. But the other way is to grow from seeds, and they have a little bit of those fields as well, the zairai fields that are grown from seeds. And in that case, Yuko-san is telling, if you go to that field, you can see how each plant is different. So one is much shorter, one is larger, one leaves are smaller, other is bigger, one shoots more, the other less, and so on. So there's a lot of variety on the farm as well. Yeah. でも今でもまだ在来なんていう育つことを続けたりしますよね。他のティーファームでもよくタイミング来たらもう品種を植えるんですけど、在来まだ少し残ってたりすることですね。
はい。
So they still have a little bit of zairai on their farm. Even most tea farmers switch to the cultivars when the time comes. And I don't know if I didn't miss anything else in the chat, but if someone would like to ask any other questions or any comments about the teas, please feel free to join us in the conversation. Yes.
Simona, if I may ask, would it be possible if visiting Japan to visit the farm, to do a tea tour or something?
Very good question. そうですね、土屋さん、マイティナからの質問、日本に来るときに、茶畑とか、茶園に見に行っても大丈夫ですか？
大丈夫です。ぜひ来てください。
Yes, you're welcome to come and visit. Tsuchiya-san is telling us, yeah.
Thank you. Arigato.
When is the trip?
待ってます。
We are waiting for you, so please come.
Well, I want to plan something, but I have some dependencies still, but I hope that I will be able to make it this year.
Oh, okay. So maybe soon. そうまだ予定決めてないんですけど、今年できれば日本に行きたいって言ってます。
静岡はさっき下野さんの紹介にもあったように、どこへ行ってもお茶畑があるんですね。なのでお茶を、目的にどこか行こうって言ったら絶対静岡に来てほしいです。でそうすると我が家は静岡駅、新幹線の静岡駅から車で1時間30分ぐらいかかる場所なんですけど、そんなに山奥に行かなくても、新幹線からもお茶畑が見えますし、どこへ行ってもお茶があるので、もう本当に楽しめるところですので、ぜひ静岡に来てください。
So as we talked before about Shizuoka being the capital of Japanese tea, actually the fast trains, the Shinkansen, they stop at Shizuoka. So Yuko-san is telling us that please do come to Shizuoka. There are a lot of things you can experience, and you can definitely experience tea. Their tea farm is a bit more in the mountains. So by car it is about 1.5 hours from Shizuoka station. But as soon as you are in Shizuoka, all around you will be surrounded by tea, so you can go and visit and experience it in the whole prefecture.
静岡は本当に海があって山があってで西から東まで距離があってすごく広いんですね。でその中にそういうところにお茶畑がどこにもあるっていうのは、ワインでいうとフランスみたいな感じかなって思うんですけど静岡のお茶って言っても本当にその地方地域によって味わいが違いますので飲み比べをして、旅するっていうのも楽しいと思います。そんなことができるエリアは静岡だけだと思います。
そうですね、そういうバリエーション。Right. So Shizuoka is quite an interesting place. Of course, there's sea and there are mountains, and you can feel that difference in the terrain actually in the taste of the tea as well. So it's like kind of wine tour where you would go and experience different kind of wines at different wineries. You can do something similar like that in Shizuoka with tea. So visiting different places, you can taste and experience different kinds of teas all around Shizuoka. So definitely please come for a visit. And I also shared now in the chat the information of the Tsuchiya Noyen, so their website and their Facebook page, so you can check it out and connect with them as well. はい、ホームページとFacebook にも今みんなにシェアしてまして、そのイベント後でも見れるようにですね。
ありがとうございます。
Quick,
I have a
quick question.
Very fast. Oops.
Okay, question. So Stefania first. And then...
how long is toasted this hojicha? How long and with what temperature?
Okay. So ステファニア知りたいことはほうじ茶についてなんですけど、そのほうじるときで温度どれぐらいしてたりしますか？あと、ほうじる時間もとか、もし秘密じゃなかったら教えてください。
そうですね。ほうじは、実は、我が家は煎茶のお茶農家で、原料の煎茶は作るんですけども、ほうじは専門の、ほうじの、焙煎をしている、業者さんにお願いしてるんです。はい。で、ちょっと温度とかっていうのは私も、300度とかって聞いたことがあるような気がするんですけど、正確には覚えがないんですが、ほうじをイメージすると、いる、ローストっていうことだと思うんですけど、我が家のほうじは、なんていうんですかね、加熱したセラミック、の中で、ポップコーンをいるような感じですかね。
あ、じゃあもう機械も全然違う。
機械も違う機械を使って焙煎してるっていうふうに聞いてます。それは、こういうふうにいってくださいって頼んでいってもらってるのではなくって、注文としては、煎茶らしさを残して、香り高い、爽やかな香り高いほうじ茶に仕上げてくださいっていうふうに、業者の方にお願いして、言ってもらってるんですね。はい。なので、ちょっと細かいことは、はい、説明できなくてごめんなさい。
大丈夫です。So regarding hojicha roasting, generally they're farmed Tsuchiya and they're mainly specializing in sencha production. So sencha is their main tea that they make. And when they want to make hojicha, they actually ask another factory to roast it for them. So Tsuchiya-san doesn't really know so specifically about like the degrees and the time of roasting because they are working with another factory. But she has heard that maybe the temperature is about 300 degrees Celsius, but it wasn't that she was checking it in much detail, so it could be also a little bit different. And also the machines seem to be a little bit different from other places in Japan. So they're using ceramic machine for roasting. So it's if you imagine, it's a little bit like the popcorn maker. So there's like a ceramic plate underneath and then the leaf is on top. And in their case, so they're not suggesting the partner factory to say, please roast at this temperature and please do for this long. They are not giving such directions. They just say that they want to keep a little bit of sencha features and they want the tea to be very aromatic, and then the partner factory adjust the setting for them. Yeah. And I think, David, you had one more question. I think that will be the last for today. So please join us in. What was your question?
It was not as good as the last question. That was a very good question. My question was simply, because this is a sencha hojicha, for subsequent, for like a second brew, does that change how you approach brewing after the first time?
Well, I think that's a good question. Let's ask Tsuchiya-san. Do you want to try yourself? Okay. 最後の質問になるんですけど、デイビドさんから、今回のほうじ茶の原料、煎茶の葉っぱになるんですから、お茶入れるときで、例えば2煎目とかその後で入れるときで何が少し、注意するとか、入れ方違うすることあったりしますか？かも普通にほうじ茶にとして、2煎目、3煎目も入れることですか？
はい。煎茶と違ってそんなに何煎も飲めるっていう感じじゃないと思うんですね。ほうじ茶の場合は。で、私は、2煎だけ飲んで、もうお茶の葉は変えちゃいます。もう、2煎飲むと、もう3煎目はもうそんなに味がないし、やっぱり熱いお湯で香りを一気に立たせるのがほうじ茶の特徴なので、2煎目、3煎目になると香りがやっぱり落ちてきますので、香りを楽しむっていう点では、やっぱり1煎目、2煎目だけですね。で、やっぱり、葉っぱの中の成分っていうのは、煎茶に比べると少ないので、待つ時間とかもそんなに待たなくても、もう本当に香りだけっていうふうに思って飲んでもらえればいいと思います。
So, the answer is that regarding this tea, the main point to enjoy is the aroma. And for that reason, Tsuchiya-san is suggesting that maybe 1 or 2 brews are the best. After that, the aroma fades out and is not so strong. So yeah, so for the first 1 or 2 brews using hot water, we can have the very beautiful aroma that we experienced and the delicious taste as well. Okay, so I think with that, we can pause here for today's event. 土屋さんも今回時間ちょっと応募してるんですけど、最後の一言皆さんに言ってくれたらそこで締まりしたいと思います。
はい。皆さん今日はありがとうございました。やっぱり日本人だけのものにしておくのには日本茶もったいないなって思います。世界の人たちに美味しく飲んでもらえるお茶を私たちもこれから作っていきたいと思いますので、ぜひぜひ日本のお茶、それから機会があったらまた土屋農園のお茶を飲んでください。
So the last message from Yuko-san is that it's a little bit a shame if Japanese tea is only for Japanese people. So she hopes that people from around the world, like yourselves, will have a chance to enjoy Japanese tea as well. And if you have another chance, please try more of their teas as well. And with that, we say a big thank you for joining this event. Thank you for joining maybe more than once, not the first time. At this point, we are going to take a short break because now is going to be a very busy farming season and we want to let the farmers focus on their main job, on making tea. And later on, once the teas are ready, later in the year, we will come back with more events. So thank you so much for joining today and let's stay in touch and let's stay connected. はい、ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございました。
はい、see you soon. また会いましょう。
また会いましょう。
ありがとうございました。
はい、お元気で。